What's up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with another video review. Today, the figure that we're taking a look at is the Riobot Jehuty. Is my light on? My light is on. Is my light on? My light is on. Okay. So this is Jehuty from the video game Zone of the Enders. Specifically, this is the color scheme that it had in Zone of the Enders 2, the second runner. And this isn't my figure. I'm borrowing it from a buddy of mine, but I tell you what, man, I swear to God, like half of my formative years were spent playing Zone of the Enders. So this is something that I am intensely familiar with. But yeah, so this figure, so this is my first time handling a Riobot figure, and I'm really starting to think that this shouldn't be my last time. This is a really, really like well-made figure. So it's not a huge figure, as you can see. But it's very, very intricate. Like the way you've got the parts that move against each other. And it gives the impression, because of course, you know, on the PlayStation 2, they didn't have a whole lot of super complex geometry, and a lot of the parts just kind of stretched against each other. And I mean, Jehuty always gave the impression that it was, like, of course, an artificial thing, but almost like a life form in some ways. Like the Metatron technology was, I don't know, like it flexed, you know, it flexed and moved and was almost like biomimetic in some ways, you know. And you get that with parts that slide and extend on each other, and the way you get the joints are layered up and move and whatnot. So it's really quite well made. I'm gonna go into this, but like even on the dick piece, like you get all this, like, you know, moving parts like in the underside of the dick and the taint and stuff like that. So yeah, I just 2.5 minutes in already talking about dicks. But yeah, this figure is just gorgeous. Lots of really, really good details all the way throughout, and they didn't miss anything. Like they've even got integrated little Heelys for when Jehuty stands on the ground. Unfortunately, they don't support any weight. It almost would have been nice if they had found some way to firm these up, to tighten that joint. Like maybe have them come into, so they're on like a little rail or a slide, right? So they come out, and then it almost would have been nice to have them like clip. Oh my God, they do. They clip. Dude, what? All right, I lied. This figure is perfect. I'm like, yeah, you know, this figure's mostly perfect. I've got a couple ideas of things they could do. No, they clip. Dude, that is awesome. So, yeah, apparently with the little Heelys out, Jehuty can stand just fine. The joints on this are pretty good. I have a little bit of issue with the way the like thigh, there's like a V cut in the thigh, and it makes it so that it's hard to move the legs directly forward. Yeah, even if you click them out like that. Which makes it so that some of the leg up poses are maybe a little bit awkward looking, but also the color on this is really good. You've got this metallic blue, and then this, like, you've got a couple shades of gold. Like you've got a kind of a brighter gold, and then like a darker coppery gold. That's so fucking rad. But anyhow, most of the time Jehuty is flying around and doesn't stand. So it comes with a base. And you can take this little plugging thing here, slap it in. There's all sorts of little places all around the outside. You can just have it into any one of them. Come around here to the butt flap. Pull off that little doohickey there. Plug this in. And there's Jehuty floating in the air. That needs to be tightened just a smidge. Do I have my screwdriver set here? Well, I can't seem to find it, so I'll just have to be careful. It does have screws, so you can tighten this up if you feel the need. But, yeah, so, Jehuty. Some of the action features that Jehuty comes with are, comes with the shield that's movable. You can wiggle this all around, though it is supposed to, like, basically sit out here straight back on the elbow or kind of on the side. The sword is movable. It comes out. That's the, this is the full, like the full scale. There's a cat here. This is a full scale sword. It does come with, you can take this and gently pull it off. And then it comes with a big ass sword for, I don't know if y'all noticed, but when you're playing the game, I'm sure they do this to like emphasize the like power and whatnot of the blade. When you swing, the blade actually extends out. So the blade on full swing is actually much longer than it is just hanging out. And so you can definitely do poses like that with the blade out. The little doohickeys back here, the little like fan thrusters, you can open those up and there are clear effects. Of course, in game, they're just a series of these gold parts just kind of float. There's a lot of floating things in Jehuty's design. Where's the other one? Got like a whole pile of parts down here, which I will explain one by one by one. But, yeah, so in terms of more accessories, so there's these kind of relaxed pose hands here. Now, these hands are hard to tell apart because Jehuty has 3 fingers and 2 thumbs, which is a super weird design. But you'll see here, they're kind of asymmetric. And I think that this is how it's supposed to go. There's a booklet that comes with it, but it comes with these like karate chop hands. And again, I'm pretty certain this is supposed to pretend to be a pinky and this is supposed to pretend to be the thumb. So like that, but like the pinky's stuck in. So it comes with a pair of those. These do have a peg on the other side. This is for some action stuff I'll get into in just a second. It comes with a pair of identical hands, except these ones don't have a peg on the bottom. So a pair of those. It comes with a pair of widespread hands. And again, for differentiating between left and right I I would say they're like this, left and right. I'm not even sure. And then it comes with a pair of fists. And the fists, I don't know. I think that the thumb is kind of on the outside, so it would go like this, left and right. Swapping the mount is a pretty easy thing. Let me pull this out and, well, I don't know. Let me just fold it back up. Actually, no, I am going to move it back because when it's folded up, it's so flippin' long that it gets in the way of all your other things that you're doing. So I'm just going to put the old regular sword back on. So swapping out the hands, they're just on the little ball joint. And I'm going to put on one of these peg hands. Because we're going to get into that a little bit. So they're just on a ball joint. You pull them off, pluck the new one back on. There is an accessory for the stand. You can see that this port here has got like a hole in it. And you can plug this other guy onto that. And then that allows you to put on, if you remember, if you've played the game, there would be, when there's bad guys nearby, there would be a ring that comes up around Jehuty. And the ring would have a sign on it that says enemy that faces towards where the enemy is. So this ring would be centered on Jehuty. And then it would point directly towards wherever the enemy was. The only thing that this lacks in terms of that sort of detail is the ring itself had it was actual visual ring. So there would be if that was to be recreated on this, there would be a paint that goes all the way around the outside of this. But I don't think that they did it because this ring serves multiple purposes. So the next thing that it does is partway through Jehuty, Zone of the Enders 2, the second runner, Jehuty upgrades to Jehuty version 2.0. And these little these little bits here would come out and float around Jehuty as part of a defensive field. And so you can pluck them off. There's a second set of 3 of them. And they will all plug on the outside of that ring thing. And then there's also a set of, these are the homing missiles. The only option part that this comes with, the only sub-weapon that this comes with is these homing missiles, and they are pretty damn accurate to how they were in the game. And then you can take them, and it comes with a series of these little bits that fit into, you basically chunk them into the hollow space of this. And then they just sit in there, and then you can just, there's one for each of these missiles. I don't know why I'm putting them all on. I don't intend to put them all on the ring. But then you can come around to the back. And you can clip these onto the ring as well. Oh, these might actually be easier to like put on the ring and then attach onto the missile. Let's see if that's the case. Yeah, that's the strat right there. Ah, I really should have tried to find my screwdriver set better. It's around here somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly where. Yeah, so you can get them lined up and ready to go wreck something. And then last but not least, it comes with this little guy right here. It actually comes with a couple of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. 2 of them, 1 for each hand. And you can take and plug this into this included beam. And then plug the beam onto the hand. This one seems to be loose, loosey-goosey. See if the other one's a little tighter. See if this is tighter on the other hand. Oh yeah, it's snug on that hand. And this one's also still kind of loose on that hand, which I don't know, with only the one sample, I don't know if it's a systemic issue or just a individual issue. And so Jehuty can hold the beam. You can also, I'm going to swap it out to the other hand just because it works easier. There's a few different things that you could grab in that game. You could grab beams, you could grab plates, you could grab, I think there was barrels, like explosive barrels that you could grab at one point. Come on. Yeah, there you go. All right, we're going to take this ring off, so. Whee! So you can actually take and unpeg this stand from the base. Put Jehuty down carefully. Then you can detach this plate from the base. This is now a regular Riobot stand. Plug this back in. And the base has got the little port in it for these little 2 tabs, and you can hold it on that port like that. So now you can defend yourself against, like, I don't know, a big old giant cannon in a hallway or something like that. The other sub-weapon that I wish that Jehuty had come with is the vector cannon. How cool would that be? I don't know. Maybe some clever person will or already has, like, designed one that you can 3D print or something. But let me talk about accessories. Sorry, not accessories. Let me talk about posability on Jehuty. So the head is on a ball joint up here, but then you can move and you can twist it around, and then below that it's on. It must not be a ball joint. It must be either a contained ball joint or a swivel. It feels very much like a ball joint though. But when you bring the head up, it pulls on this section here on the neck to bring that up. There's a ball joint at the base of the neck, letting you move that around. There is, by the way, as an action function, this Metatron core can be popped out. Of course, the whole Ada's purpose was to take Jehuty to the core of Alman and then self-destruct. This is the core. course, they ended up doing something else, but you know. The shoulders. So the shoulder moves this whole section, including the little wing thing. This wing thing is on a peg, and then there's a joint that goes back and forth, and then you can move it up and down at this hinge, and then move it up and down here. And of course, this will open and close, but I've got them open, and I don't want to have to mess with them at the moment. But so you can move this whole thing forward and back. I do wish that this joint right here that goes back and forth was a little bit tighter. This will go back and forth, and then there's some up and down, and that up and down is not a whole lot of motion, but you can see that, I don't know if you can see. So first of all, when it goes forward, like I mentioned, this little chunk that this peg is on moves with the shoulder, but also you'll see that this gold piece in the chest, like, sucks in as it goes in. There's a linkage in there, and that's cool. When this, even though this only wiggles up and down a little bit, there's still motion between this top portion of the inside of the shoulder and this bottom portion, like of the lat, and that moves against each other. There's a shoulder joint here. You got these little flaps here. So this is on a ball joint here. These little flaps are on just hinges. The shoulder goes out. You can move. So this doesn't rotate around. So if you move the arm forward, you're going to collide with that shoulder armor. But it'll go forwards and back. This is on a ball joint, so it'll move quite a bit. I'm pretty certain this is accurate to how it moved in the game too. So there's a double joint here on the elbow, and I think that'll bend more. Maybe, I don't know. I'm pushing on it a bit, and it doesn't want to go. There's a hinge joint and a ball joint on this little shield thing. The other arm is the same, though there's no motion on this sword aside from this little flipping function. There's a rotation on, so there's this hinge on the wrist, right? And there's a rotation on that, and then a ball joint that connects to the hand. So you can move this around to either move the hand in this axis here, or move it on this axis here. So there's some options there. You've got a ball joint here in the waist. This one will go side to side and forward and back. Oh, I didn't mention there's a hinge here. This hinge is separate from the ball joint here. And then there's a ball joint down at the base of the waist as well. So there's like 4 different joints just in the torso alone. The dick moves. And again, as it moves, you can see that this there's detail that comes out in the scrotum. So yeah. These legs will go around there on a ball joint, it looks like. Maybe it's a universal hinge. They're on a universal joint in here. So they'll go out that far. Then they'll come, basically, if you get the arm out, they'll go all the way around. There is a thigh swivel here, and then there's a joint where you can take and pull on it, and it'll click. And this will move it out. That's good for when the legs are clicked tight in their sockets. You can get the legs out pretty straight, but if you click them out, then you can actually get some overlap to bring the legs in closer together. There's this little guy here is on a ball joint, so it'll swivel about. You can wiggle it a little bit, but really it's mostly just there for the swivel. There's, gosh, at least 2 or 3 joints in the knee to accommodate for the way the knee bends. So there's this main joint here, And then there's a joint below that that's got this little sliding armor gimmick. And that'll get you that little extra bit to fold that leg up all the way. Really, really interesting engineering on this. Nothing really on the back of the leg aside from this guy here, which does click. I was very excited to find that just now. And that's basically it for Jehuty. A whole lot of accessories, a good paint job, good sculpt. Riobot is just knocked it out of the park with this. I like that. Everything looks good. Everything looks accurate. I believe it goes like this. There's a cool bit of detail in the eyes. So Jehuty has got this visor, but if you look closely, especially, and you can see it best on like naked Jehuty where the visor's broken, it's just got the eyes. The eyes are actually sculpted into the visor and painted, and you can see them in that reflection. And it's kind of cool. Subtle, but super cool. So Riobot also makes an Anubis, and I think that's it. I think that's all they did from Zone of the Enders. But yeah, I'm gonna have to see about getting myself another Riobot, getting myself a Riobot. Like I said, this isn't mine, because I'm quite impressed with the engineering on this. Like, that's pretty damn good. But anyhow, that's about all I've got to say about it. Not too long of a review today, but anyhow, thanks everybody for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya.